There's a split second when attraction flips. Not slowly, not logically, instantly. One moment she's curious. The next, she's emotionally invested, and most men never even notice when it happens. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Attachment doesn't form when you give more. It forms when her mind has to work for you. Dark psychology isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding how the human brain bonds under uncertainty. Most men destroy this moment by doing what feels right, explaining, reassuring, over-communicating. They think consistency builds safety, but the female brain doesn't attach through comfort first. It attaches through intrigue. Attachment begins where certainty ends, when she doesn't fully understand you, when she can't predict you, when silence forces her imagination to fill the gaps you never touched. And here's the dangerous part. Once her imagination activates, logic shuts down. She starts investing emotionally before she realizes why. Here's where most men lose without realizing they ever had a chance. The moment attraction sparks, they flood it with attention. Texting becomes constant. Availability becomes unlimited. Mystery dies quietly. Dark psychology reveals something brutal. The brain doesn't attach to what's always present. It attaches to what feels slightly out of reach. When you're always there, her nervous system relaxes, but attraction needs tension to survive. Every instant reply sends a signal. Nothing else matters more than you. Every paragraph says there's nothing left to discover. Every check-in whispers, I'm afraid you'll forget me. And fear is contagious. What starts as excitement quickly turns into boredom, then irritation. Not because you did something wrong, but because you removed uncertainty too fast. Her brain stops chasing once it has you figured out. The men who win do the opposite. They don't disappear, but they don't overexpose either. They let silence do the heavy lifting. And silence, when used correctly, rewires attraction at a subconscious level. Silence is where weak men panic and strong men activate attraction. The moment she doesn't reply, most men spiral. They reread messages. They assume rejection. They break the silence with a follow-up text that quietly destroys everything. But dark psychology exposes a counterintuitive truth. Silence doesn't create distance. Your reaction to silence does. When you stay calm, her brain starts asking questions. Why isn't he chasing? Why isn't he anxious like the others? Why does this feel different? Uncertainty creates emotional tension, and emotional tension is the precursor to attachment. Here's what most men don't understand. Her delayed response is rarely about you. It's about mood, distraction, testing, or timing. But the moment you react emotionally, you fail the unspoken test of stability. Stillness communicates power. Patience communicates options. Non-reaction communicates confidence. And once she senses that your emotional state isn't controlled by her responses, the dynamic quietly flips. Here's what no one tells men about attraction tests. They're not planned. They're instinctive. When she pulls back, delays replies, mentions another guy, or suddenly gets busy, she's not playing games. Her subconscious is asking one question: is this man emotionally stable without my validation? Dark psychology shows that women don't attach to reassurance. They attach to emotional consistency under pressure. Most men fail here. She goes cold, they chase. She distances, they explain. She tests, they collapse. But the man who passes does something terrifyingly simple. He doesn't react. She pulls back, he stays grounded. She delays, he slows down even more. She tests, he remains unchanged. And this is where attachment quietly forms. Because her nervous system registers something rare, safety mixed with strength. You're not trying to win her, you're centered without her. Once she realizes she can't control your emotional state, curiosity turns into investment. Chasing feels natural, but attraction isn't built on instinct. It's built on perception. From a dark psychology perspective, chasing sends one silent message: you are the prize, not me. And the moment your perceived value drops in her mind, attachment becomes impossible. Think about it biologically. Would someone with options panic? Would someone in demand beg for attention? The brain reads pursuit as scarcity, and scarcity lowers perceived worth. That's why the more you chase, the more she pulls away. Not to punish you, but because her attraction system is recalibrating. Pressure triggers resistance. Emotional pursuit activates avoidance. Here's the shift that changes everything. Accept that she can leave. The moment you're okay with loss, your behavior transforms. You stop over-explaining, you stop proving, you stop performing, and suddenly your presence feels grounded, not needy. This is where power returns, not through control, but through outcome independence. Here's the truth most men avoid. You can't act abundant, you have to become it. Dark psychology doesn't reward pretending. The nervous system detects authenticity instantly. When you truly have a full life, your communication changes without effort. Men with options don't rush replies. They don't hover. They don't make someone their emotional center after 2 dates. Their time is divided by purpose, by progress, by other connections. And that division creates natural scarcity. This is why trying to wait 3 hours to text back never works long term. The energy still leaks. Real abundance shows up as calm, not calculation. When your life is full, your phone becomes a tool, not a lifeline. You reply when it fits, not when anxiety demands it. And that ease is felt immediately on the other side of the screen. Here's the twist. When you stop needing attention, attention starts chasing you. Most men confuse effort with intensity, and that mistake costs them attraction. Effort is leadership. Desperation is over-explaining. From a dark psychology standpoint, women don't attach to men who ask permission for everything. They attach to men who move with quiet certainty. Planning a date is effort. Sending 10 follow-up messages is desperation. Choosing a place is effort. Listing 5 options is insecurity disguised as politeness. But she's not evaluating the plan. She's evaluating you. Do you lead or do you seek approval? Do you trust yourself or need validation? Every interaction is a micro-test of confidence. And confidence isn't loud, it's decisive. When you lead calmly, her nervous system relaxes. When you over-communicate, it signals doubt. And doubt erodes attraction faster than rejection ever could. Here's the cliffhanger. The men who master this balance become emotionally grounding, and grounding is addictive. Here's the paradox most men never solve. Consistency builds trust, but predictability kills desire. Dark psychology explains this clearly. The brain craves safety, but it bonds through novelty. When she knows exactly when you'll text, how you'll respond, and that you'll always be available, emotional tension disappears. And without tension, attachment fades. The men women get attached to are reliable, but not scheduled. Present, but not permanent fixtures. Warm, but never consuming. You show up, you follow through, but you don't orbit. This creates a powerful emotional loop. She feels secure yet curious, calm yet stimulated. She knows you're solid, but she doesn't have you fully mapped. Predictable men feel safe but boring. Unpredictable men feel exciting but unsafe. The sweet spot is controlled unpredictability. Distance doesn't weaken attraction. Mismanaged distance does. Dark psychology shows that attachment deepens during absence, not presence. When you're gone, her brain replays you. It fills silence with imagination, and imagination is far more powerful than reality. Most men fear space because they confuse it with loss, so they overcorrect. They text to stay relevant. They check in to feel secure. But every unnecessary message interrupts the bonding process. When space is clean, not resentful, not manipulative, it becomes magnetic. She starts wondering. She starts missing. She starts investing emotionally without you doing anything. This is why men who do less often get more. They allow longing to build instead of suffocating it. Here's the final shift most never make. Real attachment forms when she chooses. You, without being pushed. The final truth is simple and uncomfortable. Women don't get attached to men who want them. They get attached to men who don't need them. Dark psychology confirms this again and again. The moment she senses you'll be fine without her, something inside her shifts. Your attention becomes valuable. Your presence becomes a choice, not an expectation. You stop chasing. You stop performing. You stop negotiating attraction. Your life stays full. Your standards stay intact. Your emotions stay regulated. And that's when attachment forms, not because you asked for it, but because she earned access to you. The men women remember aren't the ones who texted the most. They're the ones who made them feel something. In the space between messages, calm, curiosity, anticipation, desire. This isn't about manipulation. It's about self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic. Now I want to hear from you. When did less effort get you more attraction? What changed when you stopped being constantly available? Drop your experiences in the comments.